Virtual Protocol was the success story of the year 2024. The price went up by more than 8,000%. The question is, can this success story continue? Does it still make sense at the current prices to buy Virtual Protocol? In this video, we're going to look at on-chain metrics most people are not considering. So we are currently above $4. The price went up by 8,118% in the span of 1 year. And in the last week, the Virtual Protocol ecosystem was the best performing category within all of crypto. Artificial intelligence agent launchpads in general have been performing pretty well. AI memes as well, AI agents as well. It's all artificial intelligence. Now here's the interesting part. We talked about this in the prior video on virtual protocols as well. It seems like it's not just the virtual token itself that's performing well, it's also the assets that get launched via virtual. And since those newly launched assets tend to have smaller market caps, they tend to also appreciate faster. AI XBT went up by more than 100% in the last week alone. We talked about AI XBT several weeks ago on this channel. And just have a look at all the other appreciations, right? They all outperformed the virtual token itself. Again, because the market cap is smaller, it requires less capital for those tokens to appreciate for the same percentage gains. And so there's an interesting shift happening. It seems like the virtual protocol adoption happened in two phases. First of all, when virtual got launched, but then secondly, once the adoption accelerated. So the first video on virtual protocol was published 72 days ago on this channel. And that performed better than average. A follow-up video performed not as good. The next video also underperformed, but then came the adoption. Last month saw an outperformer. 2 weeks ago, another outperformer. And the recent video is outperforming yet one more time. And so of course, most gains are to be made when the token is not yet that popular. They are to be made when the insiders tend to buy. Have a look at this. Brian Young dollar cost average into the virtual protocol. Here are 215K transactions when the token was still at 7 or 8 cents. Now we are above $4. So that's an appreciation of almost 5,000%. Who's Brian Young? He's one of the most popular YouTubers that talks about crypto regularly. He's more than 2 million subscribers. Of course, when he talks about a token, the token tends to go up, and we follow some of his wallets. That's how we got those kinds of alerts. And so have a look at this, 61 comments. So our community bought. This is part of premium. So down below, thebitcoinstrader.com. But again, I try to also publish videos very early on this channel for free here on YouTube. So if you want to be early next time, feel free to subscribe over here. There are several new videos every single day. Now here's what's interesting about Virtual Protocol. The token can be bought on the centralized exchanges, but there's still significant trading volume on the decentralized exchanges as well. And that's very useful because decentralized exchanges use the blockchain. The blockchain is a public ledger, so you can actually see who is buying and who is selling transparently, directly with on-chain analytics. So most trading volume happens on Gate.io, but at number 2 is already Uniswap on the base chain. Yes, there are bets on the price, there are perpetual futures, and they've got some leverage. They also influence the spot market, but the trading volume isn't yet that elevated. So there's not too much artificial leverage in the price just yet. And so let's have a look at the on-chain analytics again. Let's have a look at the 265,000 holders. Not all of those holders are created equal. Some of them might only own a few cents of the token. Others might hold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of the token. And so have a look at this. This is the number of retail investors on the left, medium-sized retail in the middle, and the whales on the right. And the way we make this distinction is by minimum holding threshold. So it's 250 tokens on the left, 2,500 tokens in the middle, and 25,000 tokens on the right. So it's $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. All wallet cohorts tend to accumulate over time, while the small retail investor tends to grow the fastest in terms of numbers. We also see how the number of buyers and sellers tends to grow over time. So on the left side, this is just in absolute numbers, and on the right side, that's normalized to 100% per day. There are some days where we have an outlier of more buyers than sellers, but most of the time we are somewhat balanced. Now there's an interesting shift happening in the last few days. It seems like money is not flowing into crypto anymore. There was a pretty strong expansion in the last weeks. This expansion seems to have halted. Have a look at this. This is the market cap of various stablecoins, so DAI, USDT, USDC, BUSD. And whenever this line is going up, this means that money is flowing from the traditional finance world into crypto. Whenever this is going down, it means like people are withdrawing from crypto, and the crypto market as a whole is rather shrinking. Since October of 2023, we are on expansion mode, but have a look at what happens in the last few days. We aren't yet clearly turning around, but we are definitely not growing either. Since the middle of December 2024, we tend to go sideways, and we might even now shrink slowly. Now, as long as we are shrinking very slowly or we're going sideways, things are okay when we've got an edge in the market now, right? It's still player versus player, but as long as we have got data that's better than what most other people have, we can still make money. It simply just gets a bit tougher. Have a look at this here. This is the others dominance. So how much of all of crypto is in altcoins that are not in the top 10? And we seem to be somewhat historically in a trading range. Currently, we are not necessarily super elevated, but we are not at rock bottom either. The altcoins in aggregate could still continue to go down. In the last few days, we definitely did not go up. The potential underperformance of altcoins versus the rest of the market is another 16% loss. At the same time, Bitcoin is still above its best moving average, the 120-day, but there is potential, even in a continued bull market, to still drop by maybe 15%, all the way down to 80K. The market seems to be clearly shifting to artificial intelligence related tokens. The Virtuals protocol ecosystem gained 47% in the last week. AI agent launchpads in general performed very well. AI memes, AI agents, it's all artificial intelligence. What did not do so well? It's mainly the technical tokens. It's oracles, it's IoT, it's perpetual futures markets, it's data availability, infrastructure, etc. And so as we're becoming more and more player versus player, having somewhat of a market edge versus the others becomes more and more important. For example, have a look at this. This is Kyle Chessy, influencer Kyle Chessy, that bought AI16Z for only 1.8 cents. He actually bought into the token several times. He was dollar cost averaging very, very aggressively. And now the price is not at a few cents. Now it's at $1.77. Pretty much a 100x. And so this is how I believe we can get a market edge. This is how we can win in this player versus player game. We have to follow people that historically made good trades, but we also have to follow people that can move the markets. Here is the YouTube channel of Kyle Chessy. He's got 141,000 subscribers. And here are the wallets that we track by Kyle Chessy. So we've got 12 of his wallets. We've got more than 400 wallets in total. And that is how we get alerts like this, how he swapped for AI16Z at less than 2 cents. Now, Kyle Chessy is a guy that tends to make this VC approach, right? The venture capital approach, where you buy a lot of tokens with a lot of upside potential, but where you're already calculating that many of those tokens will go to zero. So the calculation is not necessarily that we can simply buy everything that Kyle Chessy buys and we make wins all the time. The calculation is rather that the wins are so large in magnitude that you can afford a lot of losses, right? When you've got one win that makes 100x, then you can have 9 out of 10 losers. It's still fine. You make very nice performance. This is what Kyle Chessy is doing. But have a look at this. We don't just have Kyle Chessy. We are also tracking Crypto Banter. We've got 33 of their wallets. And Crypto Banter clearly moves markets. They've got 1.1 million subscribers. Whenever they talk about a single token, of course, this brings a lot of attention. Attention then brings purchases. Purchases then bring increasing prices. Or check this out. This is Alex Becker. We've got 12 of his wallets. He's got even more subscribers. He's got 1.5 million and he tends to talk about small tokens as well, again influencing prices. And so this is all part of the premium membership of this channel. It's down below. It's thebitcoinstrategy.com. Feel free to check it out. There's not just wallet tracking alerts, right? We've also got tutorial videos, more than 100 in total, on topics like risk mitigation, portfolio diversification, back testing, and of course also wallet tracking. There's even a dedicated tutorial course on just how to find influencer wallets and how to then track them and how to subsequently also interpret the signals that we get from the tracking. Once we've got a signal, we also have to discuss, of course, when should we buy, when should we sell, what are the current on-chain analytics, etc. That's why we've got dedicated chats on the individual altcoins in premium as well. So feel free to check it out. It's currently $165 per month. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, in case you don't learn anything, then feel free to simply just message me within the first 7 days and I'll refund you 100%. There's really zero risk for you. Now, Now, does it still make sense to buy the virtual token directly? So not the assets from the virtual protocol, but the virtual token itself. Does it still make sense? Do we still have enough upside potential from here? Let's have a look at what happened in the last month. So the price 3x'd in the last month. Or to be more precise, we went up by 204%. During that time, we've seen the number of new users versus returning users fluctuate quite a bit, but we definitely have not seen the number of holders fluctuate. We have seen continued adoption, especially by small retail. The number of wallets that have at least $1,000 worth of the token went up by roughly 50%. Again, just in the span of a month. The number of medium-sized retail, so the wallets with at least $10,000 worth of the token, went up by 30%, and the number of whales went up by roughly 15% in the last month. So there is growth across the board. It's a rally driven by small retail, but it's purchases everywhere, and that's why the price can triple so fast. The whales are not selling. And I think they are not selling because there's still potentially more adoption by the centralized exchanges. Yes, the token is listed on centralized exchanges, but there's still a lot of trading volume decentralized as well. And usually what tends to happen is as a token gets more and more popular, the supply gets scooped up by the centralized exchanges. Once we see the Uniswap trading volume to fall maybe to only 5% or 3% of all of trading volume, maybe even less than that, and all of the trading volume pretty much happens on the centralized exchanges, that's probably where the ultimate top is. Of course, in terms of market cap, Virtual's protocol is already very large with 4 billion. It's the 33rd largest token across all of crypto. With a 2x from here, it would outgrow Uniswap. With a 3x from here, it would outgrow Shiba Inu. And with a 5x from here, we would outgrow major blockchains like Tron. So I don't think $4 is the ceiling for Virtual's protocol. I do believe that the growth will continue. I do believe that a lot of speculation is now moving from the Solana meme coin ecosystem to the base artificial intelligence ecosystem. But as mentioned in the last video, I believe that most upside potential is in the tokens that get launched on Virtual. It's not necessarily the Virtual protocol itself. I think Virtual will have a hard time 10xing from here, but individual tokens on the Virtual protocol can easily 10x from here. So the hype around AI is likely going to continue. I think it's all about finding those small gems that still have more upside potential. It's not necessarily just allocating to Virtual itself. We can mitigate risk by simply just buying several individual tokens instead of just buying the platform. The platform can be seen as a less risky bet, but we can also reduce risk simply just by buying multiple assets. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you in the next video or see you in premium. Cheers!